my dad was an army man, and he was posted around the countries, yeah. And my mum was from Ireland, and she came from a big family, about 7 or 8 of them, I think. And her mum, my nan, she had chickens, and they'd survived selling the eggs and the chickens for me. And my mum's dad, he went out and he played the fiddle and at kids' parties, and he brought home sandwiches as payment. Yeah, so my mum, she came from a really poor family, and they had no running water, they had no gas, and they had to go down the road and get their water. Anyway, so the beginning of my life was in Hampshire, and I noticed alcohol straight away. So in the morning when I'd get up, there was what was left of the alcohol and maybe a bit of chocolate. That was my first identification with alcohol. And then when I was about 5, 6, 7, 8, or even 9, I can't remember, 3 years we went to Germany. And we lived near the River Rhine, and my mum and dad led me into the wine tasting, and they had like a drinks cabinet, and Christmas time my dad said he let us taste everything, and he's like, this is avocado, this is martini, this is rum, and blah blah blah. And we'd get given a bit of wine on a Sunday, like only a little tiny drop, yeah, not a lot. And so there was alcohol again, and then when we came back to the UK, my mum and dad started to make wine and beer, and by the time I was like 11, 12, 13, 14, I was stealing it along with my sister, and then I started smoking, and then I started like smoking the cannabis, and stealing as well to pay for it, and I remember my first drink was Pernod, and I glugged it all down, and I was with some friends, and I just remember them helping me home, holding me at the back of my jeans, like marching me home. That was my first blackout, and I was quite young, 14, 15. Anyway, as things progressed, I'd be reading the newspapers, and like in the newspaper was a model and a musician, and you know, they're having a relationship, whatever. And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I need to be. I think that's what the world expects of me. Now, it could have led into prostitution if I wanted it to, but I didn't, because I had this boyfriend, yeah? And he looked like Rod Stewart, and I was kind of looking like Madonna. Anyway, I thought I was pregnant, and it was a phantom pregnancy, yeah? And but I moved in with the boyfriend, and it didn't go quite well, like living with the guy, because he was a raving alcoholic, and it was just hilarious. I mean, he'd come out of the pub and he'd fall over the step with a pint of beer in each hand, and they'd both smash on the floor. And it was really painful, but I still didn't know what an alcoholic was. Like, in my head, an alcoholic was somebody that would wake up on a park bench and have a drink first thing in the morning, and I didn't do that, so I wasn't an alcoholic, but he was. I could clearly see that. Anyway, we had a couple of fights, and I went abroad with my sister. I ended that relationship. I went abroad with my sister, and we got a one-way flight to Milan, and we just bummed around Europe for 6 weeks. And during that time, I didn't really smoke a lot of cannabis, and I didn't really drink a lot, yeah. And so everything that I was suppressing, pushing down with alcohol, drugs, it all started to come up to the surface. And like when I came back home, my sister got unwell, and we had to come home, and we were dabbling with the tarot card as well, which wasn't a good thing to be doing. But anyway, we come home, and then shortly after that, I had a complete and total utter mental breakdown, and it was either a mental breakdown or a spiritual awakening. And there's part of me that thinks it was a spiritual awakening, but I was very delusional. Anyway, so shortly after that, I left home because I wasn't getting on very well with my mum, and I went to Southend because my daughter's dad, I met him abroad and he lived here, so I moved down here and that didn't work out very well. He was like quite into the drugs and both of our behaviours was just really weird and we didn't get on, and so I ended up single parent, and then not long after that I became Christian, and I had another spiritual awakening, and it was a healthy one, and it was like God removed from me the drinking and the cannabis, and that's pretty much all I was into at that time anyway. So now I've become a Christian, and I'm like, right, okay, well now I need a Christian husband, where are they? Anyway, a lot of people pleasing going on, a lot of seeking approval. I didn't know like what an alcoholic was at this stage. Anyway, I met this guy and he was 20 years older than me, but it didn't really matter because he was teaching me the Bible, which is what I wanted to know. Anyway, so we got married, and on our wedding day, he picked up a drink, and that was it. It just went downhill. He turned into a monster. My daughter was 4.5, and I'm like, I can't be doing this. And I rang up the best man, and I said, you better come and get him, because I can't be living with this. I didn't know he was an alcoholic. I'll tell you what, he hid it from me, right? And anyway, and here I am thinking, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm clean, yeah? And I was sober-minded, and anyway, that was that. I was just absolutely devastated that I could make such a great big mistake in sobriety, sober, and so what I did was I picked up the drink and the drugs, and off we went for the next 10 years. Rod, what scriptures have you got? Have you got that Romans there? What is that one? But if I know that what I'm doing is wrong, this shows that I agree that the Lord is good. No, that's not one. That's not one. I'll help you out, Jen. I've got it. Romans. Sam's got it. Sam's come prepared.
I've come prepared, mate.
Is that one of our known?
There we are.
Sam's going to read it.
I do not understand what I do, for what I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate to do. And if I do what I do not want to do, I agree that the law is good. As it is no longer I myself who do it, but it is sin living in me. For I know that good itself does not dwell in me, that it is in my sinful nature. For I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. Yeah?
Thank you, Sam. It's very well read. So what I done, so I was a Christian, and I knew that I shouldn't drink and I shouldn't take drugs and I shouldn't be going out clubbing and I shouldn't be sleeping with people or ending up in situations where people want to and I don't want to. And yeah, the drink took me to places I didn't want to go, with people I didn't like, doing things I didn't want to do. I'll spare you the details, but anyway, that caused a lot of pain and carnage. I didn't do very well at my parenting. I don't know how my daughter wasn't taken off me, and I didn't lose my house either. I mean, I was asking social services to help me, and I went to this place called Marigold, and they sent me on holiday with other addicts, and so we drank and used there. Anyway, so after that session of drinking and drugging, I swapped the amphetamine and the coke habit. I swapped, which it wasn't terrible, but I was just getting addicted, and I swapped it for a violent, abusive relationship. And I met this guy, and he was really controlling and manipulative, and he used to question me, cross-examine me, and interrogate me, and it just gradually got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and then I got out of it. I got in it 2003, and I got out of it 2005, and I'm still a Christian at this point, and I'm hanging on by my little finger. And anyway, I managed to get a job, I managed to pass my driving test, and I managed to get the mortgage, and I was doing quite well at my photography. Southend Photographic Society, I got prizes and trophies and everything. I was doing really well in life, and I I was up on my feet and I was running and everything. And then I thought, yeah, I've arrived. This is great, this. And he came back into my life. Yeah, and I let him in, and I shouldn't have done. And Rod, have you got that donkey story? Did you get that one? No, all right. So I'll tell you the story of the donkey, right? The donkey, as the farmer's donkey, is fallen in a well, right? And the farmer's like, okay, it's an old donkey, I can't get it out, let's just bury it. And the farmer starts shoveling like the dirt in the well to cover up the donkey. And the donkey's like, look, what are you doing? and the donkey's shaking it off, right? And eventually, the donkey's able to walk out of the well because of all that mud like thrown on the donkey to bury, and he's walked out. And what happened in this relationship was, I thought I was well enough. I thought I've got a 12-step recovery program, and I can deal with this, I can handle this. And I couldn't, right? And it wasn't long before it deteriorated, and it became like it was the first time round. And it just ended up in a mad car chase. And anyway, going on a bit, about a year before COVID, I got rid of him again. Oh, thank God for that. But I didn't realise how much I'd deteriorated, how much I'd become very unwell, because he wouldn't let me go to AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. He wouldn't let me go to church, and he wouldn't let me go down to the gym. I mean, he didn't stop me, but it just gave me such a hard time if I did go. Anyway, I ended up getting resentful, and then I realised actually that my sister was getting all this help and support in COVID and favouritism, and my mum would just lavish her with love. And when I visited my parents and my sister came over, it'd be like get the cheese and biscuits out, and I come over and there was nothing. Do you know, it was like, anyway, I picked up this resentment, this bitter root, and I just got so unwell on it. And as much as I tried the inventory and the meetings online in COVID, like I couldn't sort it, and I tried to go back to AA, the face-to-face meetings, and it just triggered off that abandonment, that rejection, and I still had gear going on inside that was like really painful. And I couldn't get back into AA, and I couldn't get back into church, and no one was talking to me, nobody was doing what I wanted actually. They weren't saying what I wanted to get, they weren't giving me what I wanted, and I don't know, it was just really painful stuff. So like that donkey in the bottom of the well, and all of this stuff being chucked at me, life on life's terms, people not doing what I want, when I want, how I want, with what I want for how long. I just got so sick, you know, that hole in the soul, that internal spiritual maladjustment, and I couldn't get myself well, I couldn't help myself, I couldn't, that low self-esteem, I couldn't heal it, I couldn't help it, I couldn't do anything about it except wallow in it, like that donkey in the well, you know. And anyway, I have gone back to AA recently, and I've done what's suggested, and I now take people through the program, like a 12-step recovery program. I've launched myself into surrendering to the program and lining my will up with God wholeheartedly, because God doesn't want half of my heart, He doesn't want a third of my heart, He wants all of my heart. I've actually started to make some progress with that low self-esteem, and you know, with all that bitterness and resentment and anger and hatred and even envy. I think I've got a degree in like all them 7 sins, you know. And I went through lessons and trials and everything, and a lot of my recovery I've spent in ditches. You didn't get that one, did you? That film. Okay, on YouTube, you'll have to look it up when you get home. There's some little boy, and he pulls this sheep out of the hole, right? And that silly little sheep, like, just went and dived into the same hole, but further on down the road, like, and that was me, you know, getting in these sick relationships. I have to remind myself that 2 sickies do not make a wellie. I pulled out my heart, right, to a few people, and someone said to me, it's your alabaster jar. And for the ones that don't know, I mean, I don't know a lot about the Bible, but briefly, this lady pours out all of her perfume at Jesus' feet. And I'm like, well, you know, come as you are and like, give whatever you have. Well, God, all I've got is pain, misery and depression. And he's like, yeah, give me that then. And the pain of life on nice terms, God's like, God, just go forward. I will send people to love you. And just pour it out. Just keep pouring out that pain, misery and depression and like help other people. And like, what God is doing for me now is what I couldn't do for myself. So the self-esteem is being restored, my mind is being restored, and my heart's been restored, and my life is being restored. And I'm just on the verge of taking the next step, and I feel like, yeah, it's got to be good. God's just opening the door and showing me a bit, and I'm like, yeah, I want to go in there, yeah, oh, but I can't because of this, that, and the other, and codependency and insecurity and everything. But it's just one day at a time, just one step at a time, life on life's terms. I don't know about you lot, but I find it really, really hard, but I find it a lot easier with Jesus. So I'm very, very grateful. God's been good to me, and He has blessed me in every way, and I'm really, really grateful. And I think I'll leave it there.
Yeah.